Well, yeah, so. Hello, Internet. I am the Hero of Julios with another One Piece chapter summary, and this week's chapter is chapter 1098, Bonnie's Birth, which you think would be a heartwarming chapter, at the very least, but, well, as Mewtwo once said, the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant, because it is what you do with the gift of life that matters. But good God, the circumstances of Bonnie's birth. Let's get into it with the artwork. First of all, we got this lovely artwork of Brook powering his electric guitar with the help of an electric eel, as well as some notes on the bottom of the artwork. Oda lamenting and apologizing to not just us, the readers, but also his editors and the people at Shonen Jump and wherever One Piece is read, because the artwork this week is actually unfinished, and you'll even see in a few chapters if you read it very recently, because I don't know if, by the time you're reading this or watching this video, but by the time you're catching up to One Piece or reading through, this stuff may have gone back and been cleaned up officially on the digital website, but as it stands right now, there's a few pages that are the sketchings. Oda hasn't smoothed over the lines or anything, so as dramatic as this chapter was, and I'll admit some of the scratching actually kind of added to the drama of the scenes, I hope he's okay. I'm sure we all hope he's okay. This is the first time at least in my readings, that I have ever seen this happen, that a chapter was sent out to Shonen Jump unfinished. So, let's hope that's not a bigger problem in the future. For now, though, just keep him in your thoughts and prayers as always. So, yeah. Let's get into the chapter itself, though. 14 years ago is where we pick up where we left off. The Toomey Kingdom in the South Blue is where Ginny was captured by a celestial dragon. Kuma taking it upon himself to just and warp himself over to where she is in order to try and help out in any way he can to get her back. And while fortunately for the people of Toomey, it is a successful revolution, but Ginny has been captured. And so we saw in the last chapter a mysterious foot plopped down, and that's how she got captured. The enemy snuck up on them. Yeah, that enemy was a celestial dragon. Decided to take Ginny as his bride. So yeah, what we saw Charlos do to that one girl that Zoro almost cut him up for, yeah, I mean, we all knew that was something celestial dragons did, and there is obviously implications here about a complete lack of love in the relationship. So Ginny has been captured, and Kuma basically kind of goes on a rampage, takes out the enemy, saves the entire kingdom, probably did it all single-handedly. I can't wait to see that get animated in the series, but yeah, unsuccessfully saving her, though. She is gone. And it is unfortunately radio silence for 2 entire years. Until one day, Dragon, Kuma, Ivankov, they get a message on a transponder snail, and it's Ginny telling them that she got sick, and because of that, a celestial dragon dumped her and sent her back to the lower world. Unfortunately, that sickness is something that she says is going to take her life, and she asks Ivankov and Dragon to look after Kuma for her because she doesn't want to see her. She doesn't want him to see her at the end of her days. But Kuma knows exactly where she would go, so he just kind of himself back to the Sorbet Kingdom, lands at the church doors, and makes it there just in time to see Ginny's body as hard as stone, with these blue scales all over her. But also, in this church, he sees a small crying baby. This baby is her child, Bonnie. We don't know Bonnie's last name. We don't know Bonnie's, birthday or anything. I mean, we do because Oda gave us an official birthday. But we do know now that The jewelry Bonnie we know, unless my theory is still correct on the whole cloning thing, but let's not get into that just yet. We know that this Bonnie is 12 years old because 12 years ago, her mother gave birth to her and risked it all to get back to this church. Her body turning to stone in the sunlight from this strange disease. And as Kuma held the dead Ginny in his arms, he promised he would take care of this daughter. He makes a nice little grave for her and keeps Bonnie in the church with all the old people, teaching him how to take care of her, telling her, telling Kuma, you're holding the bottle wrong. You need to let her sleep in an iron cage so you don't roll over and crush her in your sleep. And we get to see this nice little montage of life sort of going on for Kuma. He did lose the love of his life, but he has gained a daughter that he has been taking care of. He's starting to, we see him taking care of Sabo, like training him and all this Revolutionary Army stuff that happens, all the life that moves on, because even after you lose someone, life goes on. And you would think that this would be it. This is Kuma's daughter. She eats the age fruit eventually. She goes off and becomes a pirate. He goes off to become a revolutionary again, and life is good. But Oda decided, hey, what do we got? We got dead parents. We got slavery. We have dead wife. We have baby who came about through implied means that YouTube probably wouldn't want me to talk about in greater detail, but if you are adults in the audience, you know what I'm talking about here. Again, probably no love in that marriage that Ginny was in. So what else can we tack onto Kuma? Because apparently, with this big bubble of pain that is being built up, Oda decided to give Kuma everyone's backstory. Some time passes, and the people of Sorbet come up to the church to see that it has all been completely boarded up. All the windows closed, the doors slammed shut, every amount of light has been removed. No sunlight passes through any piece of the church, as Kuma tells them all to seal the door and take a look at Bonnie, as she has right here a blue stone, the same disease Ginny has. And every doctor they bring her to, one says, oh, you say the sunlight caused this. Well, let's take her outside for a test. And Kuma's like, what the hell's wrong with you? And the other doctor he brings in says, it doesn't look like amber or a white lead disease. So I don't think it's that either. But no one can figure it out. And as a result, Kuma even tells Dragon, I'm quitting the Revolutionary Army. I'm going to take care of my daughter in our boarded up church. And I don't know what's wrong with her, but I know she needs me. And Dragon says, don't live your life with regret. Take as much time as you need. We'll ask every doctor we meet in the world if we can, find out what's wrong with her. Kuma thanks him thoroughly, and Kuma goes off to be the best dad he can be to a girl who cannot touch light. And I mean, we learn later, she can't even touch moonlight. This girl cannot leave the church. There is nowhere safe for her in a world where she cannot be touched by the sun. So we cut to 7 years ago, where Jewelry Bonnie is currently 5 years old, as she is yelling at some kids for making fun of her, calling her the vampire child. She is 5 years old right now, 7 years ago, implying again that the Bonnie we know is 12 years old. Because, Devil Fruit probably aging herself up a little so she can walk among the adults. That doesn't explain why she is walking in the sun, though, and that's what's interesting about it. Although, she seems to be very in high spirits. She's a very spirited girl. She's very angry at the boys who tease her, but she's still smart enough to know not to leave the church. She knows not to touch the sunlight, even if her dad's a big crybaby about it, and he could be overreacting. She respects her father's wishes, so she's a good girl at heart. But she's still living her life in the church. Kuma even tells her stories of Nika. They talk about going to Sky Islands and Fishman Island because, for your 20th birthday, we'll go to Sky Island. And for your 19th birthday, we'll go to Fishman Island because, we're going to find a way to cure you, of course. And we actually hear Kuma say to her, if you were going to go on a trip, where would you like to go? Which, as we all know, is usually the first thing he says to someone before he sends them away. Not this case, though. Bonnie and her dad live a nice, happy life together. Even if she is sick and, can't go out in the sun, she can still live a full and happy life inside of the church, right? Oh, no, she can't, because a doctor actually shows up and says, hey, I know what disease she has. And Kuma's like, that's great. What's it called? And he goes, it's called sapphire scales. It is a disease that when the sun touches you, your body will harden and turn blue like sapphires until eventually you are a petrified corpse. Also, while avoiding sunlight is a great way to avoid it, it will eventually take hold. She will not live to see past her 10th birthday. As the two of them are whispering about this, though, Bonnie does overhear, and as soon as the doctor leaves, Bonnie comes in and says, what's that about my 10th birthday? What happens on my 10th birthday? You and the doctor were talking about my 10th birthday, and you seem pretty upset, Dad. And he goes, oh, that's because it'll all be over on your 10th birthday. And I felt that was so far away that, it just made me sad. And Bonnie's like, I'm going to be cured by my 10th birthday? And unfortunately, bless his soul, what are you supposed to tell a child? What are you supposed to tell a little girl with plot cancer? So, of course, Kuma rolls into it. He says, oh, yeah, you'll be cured by your 10th birthday. She's super excited. This is great. This is wonderful. And Kuma has given his daughter the most hope-filling, saddening truth to realize later. It kind of takes me back to that speech Ivankov gave, where hope is a very powerful thing, and if you don't have hope, you have no will to fight back. Therefore, the celestial dragons don't get a great hunt if the people don't think they're going to make it out of this alive. Now Bonnie thinks she's going to make it out of this alive, and if she finds out the amount of despair that Kuma has caused with one little white lie, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And I'm interested to see if maybe her devil fruit delays the effect to the point where it keeps her alive, or is my clone theory still correct, or what? I don't know. I still don't know. Or if Kuma pushed all of the disease out of Bonnie. Maybe he figured out a way to awaken the pawpaw fruit to a point where he could push something stronger than just aches and pains out, to the point where he could push out deadly diseases. Whatever the reason, though, we don't get to find out anything about that, because the last thing we get in this chapter is 1 year later. So Bonnie is 6, and this is currently 6 years ago. 6 years ago, the people of Sorbet bang on the door, they open it up, they call out to Kuma, they beg for his help because, I wrote down his name, King Bakori has returned. He was the king that decided, we're going to cut the nation in half and turn the southern half into slaves so that the northern half can have a discount on their celestial tribute. Well, he's back, because the revolution happened, he got banished away. Well, he's back, and he has every intention to turn the kingdom back into what it was. They are going to slaughter people in the streets. So let's review Kuma's backstory. We have, let's sprinkle things all together. We have Boa Hancock and Fisher Tiger's lives as slaves, as well as the prejudice to a specific people that you are. So we'll split that. We'll say Hancock's life as a slave, childhood, and Fisher Tiger's prejudice problem because of the Buccaneer race. He's got potentially, as we saw at the end of the chapter, Robin's watching your entire island burn problem. We got Nami, Usopp, what do we got? Some other characters, I'm sure. Tons of dead parents. I could go with any of them. Law has dead parents. So yeah, dead parents. What else do we have terrible backstory-wise? Moria's losing your friends. We got Senor Pink's dead wife. We have Senor Pink's dying child, potentially, on that one. So little Gimli died, or Gimlet. I think it was Gimlet. Gimli is a dwarf. Anyways, so Bonnie potentially dying, that's a problem. Beef with the Celestial Dragons. Yeah, pretty much Oda decided, well, Kuma is really good at taking in pain of other people. He puts it all in a nice bubble and then he dives headfirst into it. So why not give this super sweet, kind-hearted man the story of Job from the Bible? Just everything. Every bad backstory you can think of. Every terrible thing that happened to a different One Piece character in this single bubble. And then just push it onto Kuma. The next backstory we have better be the happiest one I've ever seen. Or Bonnie better have lived a really nice life. Or, you know what, better yet? Let's just have a very nice conclusion. Robo Kuma shows up at Egghead. Bonnie is there. Bonnie has the memory bubble. She throws it at her dad. It absorbs into him. Kuma's like, oh my gosh, I'm Bartholomew Kuma. You're my daughter Bonnie. Hey, how you doing, daughter? And then they defeat the Celestial Dragon. They defeat one of the five elders together with the sun god Nika Luffy. And they all live happily ever after, and we never have to talk about this again. Good Lord. What a backstory. So yeah, that's all we got this chapter. I kind of hope, this is the first time I'll ever say this, I kind of hope we go on a break next week, even if it's not a scheduled one, because, I didn't see any indication we're going to go on one, because if Oda couldn't finish his manuscript, I'm sure something happened to him. If he couldn't finish the chapter in the week that he usually did, I hope he's okay. I hope nothing bad's happening, and I'm totally okay with taking an unexpected break if it means he's doing all right, especially with how heavy this recent backstory's been. If not, though, I will see you next week with another One Piece video, whether it's a chapter or otherwise. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero Julios, Xing out. Oh, Oda. What are you doing to me?